Working with your family inside the salon can be one of the hardest things you ever do. So if you work with family, maybe it's your parents or maybe it's your kids, I'm gonna give you some tips and tricks on how to make it the best relationship possible. Hey, it's Jason Everett from highperformancesalon.com, where we give you all the tools you need to create a more profitable salon, give you more time off, and create the salon team of your dreams. So, if you work with family members, you probably have had an issue or two. And I certainly know because I come from a family run business where we had to work with my parents. I've employed my sister before. In fact, she worked with me for over 9 years. And so I have a lot of experience in kind of navigating those family dynamics. And we have salons that are inside our academy that have, mother-daughter or father-son or, parent and child relationships that happen all the time. Maybe you employ a sister or even a sister-in-law or brother-in-law. So how do you make sure that those dynamics work? Because maybe it's your husband or maybe it's your wife you have to work with every single day. So a couple of things that'll help you to navigate that relationship is number one, always make sure that you have an outside person to review the decisions that you're making together, especially if you're in leadership together. Maybe the two of you own the business together. You want to have a third non-biased party, maybe a coach or maybe a mentor or something like that can help you figure out disputes. Because unlike a 50-50 relationship, you have other dynamics that are in play all the time when you have ownership that's split up between family members. So make sure you have some outside perspective and outside opinion to help you solve the problems. Otherwise, it's like one person against the other, and that's not a healthy relationship. Now, another thing that's really helpful is to figure out what are the dynamics of the games that you're playing. So I don't mean to get all complicated on you, but just think about this for a second. You have the game of being a daughter, the game of being a son, the game of being a parent, the game of being whatever the relationship is, and you have the game of being employed together. Maybe as that's a boss or as an employee. There's an employee boss game, and then there's the actual relationship game. So what can happen very often is people start to get confused on which game they're playing at what time. So they just play the kid game at the same time that they're playing the boss game, and nobody wins because it's confusing, right? Because how you win as a parent or how you win as a child is different than how you win as an employee or a boss. So when I work with my sister, what I would say very often is like, hey, as your boss, here's my feedback or input for you, but as your brother, here's my feedback and input for you. Because again, managing somebody in their workload, you've got to manage them against measurements and metrics and all those things. And if they're doing well or not, there's a measurement. But as a brother or as a sister or as a daughter or a parent, you have a different measurement of success for how well that relationship's going. So whatever you can do to say, hey, this is me as a family member, this is me as a business relationship, and separating those two can make a massive amount of difference when you work together. And finally, number three is that make sure that your business has a strong, what we call a code of honor. It's a set of rules that everybody agrees to play by. And the reason why this is such a big deal is that you have to hold all your employees, including your family members, to the same level of account. There's a term called nepotism, if you haven't heard it before, and it basically means that the family member gets special treatment. Right? So you want to avoid that as much as possible by placing a code of honor in place. And if you want help with that, hit us up on DM somewhere and we'll make sure we get you that information. But you want to build a code of honor, make sure everybody plays by those set of rules, and do your best to make sure there's not exceptions for family members. And one final tip, if you can do it, because I think it makes a big difference, is separate yourself with a management layer. If you have a manager, try to let that manager manage the family member instead of you managing the family member. Especially if there's a lot of tension or it gets a little awkward, it's much better for that person to have another person to go to besides you as a direct family member. So I hope these tips are helpful and will put you in a good perspective to work with family members, because again, I don't know about you, but firing a family member is not ever a position I would like to be in. So I had a rule with my sister. I said, look, if we work together and it works really, really well, let's keep working together. But if at any point it puts strain on our relationship or it becomes uncomfortable, then we need to part ways and do something different. And when that happens, you at least have that agreement in place early. So anyway, I hope this is helpful for you. It makes a massive difference in the family members that you work with inside your salon company. Do me a favor, if you want more videos like this, we have a totally free salon Facebook group. It's called Profitable Salon Owner. Go over there. You can add yourself to the group, and if we approve you, you'll get access to other videos and great content just like this. Until then, have a great week.